Jody, a 29-year-old working from home. I've been married to Huey for 3 years now. Before I started working from home, I was a consultant at a major corporation managing online operations. I never intended to switch to a home-based job, but getting pregnant made me consider freelancing, so I left my position, and here I am. Thanks to my marketing skills, I've been taking on more work consulting and directing online operations, making a decent income. Huey doesn't quite understand what I do. He doesn't even know that I earn money, so he seems to think of my job as just a hobby. Switching to working from home has allowed me more time, and I was able to spend a peaceful pregnancy and safely gave birth to our daughter Caddy. The first month after, I stayed at my parents' house, managing somehow with their help. However, Huey kept asking when I was coming back, so I cut my planned 3-month stay to 1 month and returned to our apartment. Since then, I've been balancing work and childcare well enough, without financial issues. But one day, my mother-in-law, Olivia, suggested we live together. We got along reasonably well with my parents-in-law, maintaining a healthy distance, so when the idea of living together came up, I wasn't too opposed. Still wary of the typical mother-in-law and daughter-in-law conflicts, I agreed on the condition that we build a duplex. The parents-in-law were happy to live with us under any conditions, so I quickly found a construction company that listened to our needs and oversaw the purchase and construction of the land. About 6 months after the discussion of living together began, our new home was completed. It's a type of duplex with shared parts, including a common entrance. The second floor has a small kitchen and living room. It's not too big, and the construction stayed within our budget, so I wasn't too worried about the finances. When the house was finished, the parents-in-law were delighted, and I was pleased with their reaction. Olivia said she would take care of Caddy, our daughter, which made me happy, thinking it would make my work even easier. But those expectations were quickly shattered. As soon as we started living together, Olivia began to impose housework on me. Even during work, she'd come into my office without caring. "I'm hungry. Make me something right now. Hurry up and do the laundry. There's dust everywhere. If you don't clean, I won't stop sneezing because of my allergies. Caddy is crying. She's noisy. Do something about it." It was impossible to concentrate on work with all these interruptions. As a result, I often had to work late into the night, and coupled with taking care of Caddy, my mental and physical health began to reach its limit. When I told Huey about Olivia, he never took my side. "You're a wife. You should naturally obey. It's your fault for playing on your computer. I work hard, and you're just playing. That's pathetic." He would escalate his attacks with every complaint I made. Even when I said, "I'm not playing, I'm seriously working," he wouldn't believe me. Cody, my father-in-law, seemed to share Olivia and Huey's sentiments. "Work from home is hardly serious. It can't be more than a hobby," and didn't trust in my work at all. Because of this, I started to doubt myself, fearing I might be worthless or eventually abandoned due to my inadequacy. Then one day, when Huey was off work and everyone was home, while I had Caddy lying next to me as I worked, Huey burst into the room with a loud noise. "Come to my parents' room right now," ignoring Caddy, who started crying, and leaving the room. He must have known Caddy was there, so was that loud noise necessary? Doubting the sensibility of Huey and the parents-in-law who interrupted my work, I picked up the crying Caddy and went downstairs. Entering the living room, I found the parents-in-law and Huey talking happily. Perhaps I had reached my limit of irritation, as anger started to bubble up inside me. "What is it?" I asked quietly, sitting down with Caddy in my arms. The parents-in-law and Huey were still whispering something to each other. Feeling uneasy about their secretive behavior, I patiently waited for them to start the conversation. Then Olivia coughed exaggeratedly and glared at me with surprising words. "You, leave this house." I was confused by Olivia's abrupt statement. What did she mean by leave? Was she telling me to temporarily go back to my parents' house? What do you mean? I took a deep breath to calm myself and asked Olivia again, staring at her intently. "It means just what I said," she snorted and began to cross her arms arrogantly. Even as I looked to Huey for an explanation, he was just smiling continuously. Has he gone mad? Or is it me who's losing it? Why? I thought I needed to hear the reason calmly, so I first asked Olivia why she said that. Olivia's eyes lit up as if she was glad I asked, and with a smile similar to Huey's, she began to rant about how inadequate I was. Every day you neglect housework, let Caddy cry incessantly, and just play with your computer and mobile phone. I don't know if you're relying on Huey's salary, but you never listen to advice, just like a parasite. Olivia continued, laughing heartily as if she found it amusing. I apologize for the housework, but I'm doing the basics. I also take good care of Caddy. She's quite a quiet child. I countered Olivia's accusations as much as possible. I can't just let go of my computer and mobile phone. I'm working. Isn't that understandable? Then Huey glared at me. Are you cheating or what? And he accused. What? I glared back at Huey, bewildered by his baseless accusation. Yes, Jody is cheating. Olivia joined Huey, pointing at me with a look of disgust. I was appalled at their audacity. I'm not cheating. I can show you my mobile phone right now. I took out my mobile phone to prove my innocence, but Huey just scoffed at it. Anyone can deceive with that. Can't trust you. Is that so? I realized arguing was pointless and put away my phone. For now, we don't need someone like you. Parasite should move out immediately. Olivia continued to berate me. Move out quickly, she continued. I started to feel like maybe leaving with my daughter was the only option. However, there was one reason I couldn't decide to leave just yet. The duplex house. I was the one who paid for it, went to the construction company repeatedly, and was particular about the interior and exterior. Therefore, I can't just easily say, yes, sure, and leave this place. Moreover, the mortgage is still in my name, and I doubt Huey's salary alone could cover our living expenses. If I leave, my income goes too. Are you sure you can manage? I gave them one last chance to reconsider, but Huey scoffed. What income of yours? Don't make me laugh. We've been living off my salary alone until now. His ignorance made me feel almost sorry for him. I sighed deeply and turned to Olivia. Huey is quite a handful, even more than a 6-month-old daughter. Will you be taking care of him? Huey is high maintenance. He needs his towel, underwear, and pajamas ready after his bath, his shoes polished daily, his shirts ironed, suits deodorized and wrinkled free. If his morning coffee strength is slightly off, he loses his temper like a madman. I doubted Olivia could handle such a needy Huey. I asked, offering Olivia a chance. I can do a better job than you, who's just been playing around. She scoffed. Besides, if you leave, Huey already has someone else in mind. Olivia, looking pleased, said something that she shouldn't have to Huey. What do you mean? I didn't miss a beat, and turned my gaze to Huey and Olivia. Olivia showed a look of regret and hastily averted her eyes. Huey glared at Olivia. Why did you say that? He whispered in a low voice. Explain what's going on. From their reactions, I gathered that Huey might have another woman. I glared intensely at Huey, prompting him to speak uncomfortably. Apparently, according to Huey, for several months he's been seeing a woman named Carol, a young lady in her early 20s, who fell for Huey at first sight during a business encounter. After her advances, they started dating. Carol is beautiful, graceful, and has a wonderful personality, Huey says with a laugh. I couldn't believe it. Considering Huey's looks, I couldn't imagine such a young woman being interested in him. Half believing, I asked Huey for proof, thinking if it's true, I'd secure compensation. Huey showed me his WhatsApp history with Carol, and as expected, the messages were mostly from Huey, suggesting dates and compliments, but Carol seemed disinterested in anything beyond work, politely declining personal interactions. Moreover, she typically responded formally, with no stamps or anything, just simple replies. Stunned by Huey's smug face, I was at a loss for words. I took screenshots of the conversation, transferred them to my phone without permission, and saved them. You never know when they might serve as evidence. Understood. Then I'll leave. With all that had transpired, my affection for Huey had cooled off entirely, and I didn't care what happened to them anymore. I'll take Caddy with me, I declared, as Huey and the parents-in-law seemed pleased with my decision to leave. Huey's face turned serious, and his raised hands fell. What are you talking about? You can't raise Caddy without any income. That's right. Leave Caddy here. Don't be silly. Huey and the parents-in-law don't understand why I need to take her with me. As far as I'm concerned, I don't understand why I should leave my daughter in such a place. I've told you, I have an income, And why would I leave her with people who can't even take proper care of her?
When Caddy grows up, she'll work hard, and I'll relax.
Huey interrupted with his nonsensical talk as I was explaining why I wouldn't leave Caddy. What does he think of our daughter? My anger was building. He kept spouting selfish things, not realizing he's digging his own grave. He even plans to use our daughter as a tool. Very well, then let's decide the custody through court. Please prepare a lawyer. Until then, I'll take care of her. But I knew that arguing here would only complicate things further with Huey and the parents-in-law. With unwavering confidence that I wouldn't lose, I decided to initiate legal proceedings. Once they agreed, I began preparing to leave immediately. Over the next few days, I never left my daughter's side and got ready. I visited the construction company that helped build the house and explained everything. I asked if they knew any good real estate agents to sell the house. Nick, the president of the construction company, became my ally, assuring me they'd handle everything. They quickly arranged for the sale, and to my surprise, due to the house's recent construction, pristine condition, and excellent location, it sold for far more than I expected. Simultaneously, they found an apartment for my daughter and me, a great place at the lowest price due to my budget considerations. I expressed my gratitude and began preparing to move immediately.
Oh, have you already found a place?
While packing my dishes in the living room, Olivia asked with a laugh. Yes, I responded briefly, feeling no need to elaborate.
It'll be lonely without you. Well, the only thing I'm thankful for is that you gave birth to Caddy.
With a big laugh, Olivia walked away. As unpleasant as she was, I looked around. The sofa and dining table I had bought were too large for the apartment, so I decided to sell them. Next was the refrigerator, which I also bought. It was slightly large, but I decided to take it with me and marked it with a sticker. I put stickers on all the furniture and appliances I had bought and wanted to take, and took photos of the items I didn't need with my mobile phone. On the moving day, I purposely chose a day when the parents-in-law and Huey were away. Huey was at work, and the parents-in-law were called away to a community gathering. With the divorce papers Huey had given me in hand, I worked with the movers to transport my belongings. I had the construction company arrange for a waste removal service to pick up the unwanted furniture and other items. I steadily progressed with the move, and everything was finished within 2 hours. I left the house with Caddy. A few hours later, as I was arranging things in the apartment, the phone rang. It was Olivia. It was 5 in the evening. I had left before noon, so she must have just realized. I answered the call.
Jody, what's this about the house being empty?
Over the phone, Olivia seemed quite flustered and was yelling loudly. Ah, those things were mine. I disposed of the ones I didn't need.
What are you talking about?
Well, I bought them. I have receipts and other proofs of purchase, so there's no point in complaining. I said with a laugh, and Olivia, seemingly at a loss for words, raised a nonsensical uproar. Oh, and I sold the house, so please vacate within a month, I said cheerfully, and Olivia sounded even more astonished.
Why would you do that?
Since I built the house, it's in my name, and I've been paying the mortgage, so I decided to do as I pleased. So that's that. Olivia was still trying to say something, but I hung up the phone. After that, I received numerous calls from the parents-in-law and Huey, but I ignored them all. I needed to arrange the apartment quickly for Caddy's sake, and had no time for distractions. I also consulted with a lawyer, and we agreed all future communications would go through them. Months later, after repeated negotiations, I easily won custody of Caddy. The reasons were simple. I had ample financial resources. I had been the one caring for Caddy all along, and working from home allowed me to spend more time with her. Huey, who had assumed he would naturally win custody, was shocked and bitterly spat.
I don't need such a girl anyway,
and stormed off, relieved that I could finally live peacefully with my daughter. I felt a sense of calm settle over me. After I left,
the parents-in-law and Huey haven't left yet. What should I do?
I received a call from the president of the construction company. I simply replied, "Please evict them." And the president, knowing the situation and seemingly amused, laughed heartily and said,
"Leave it to me."
Before hanging up, I don't know exactly how the formidable-looking president persuaded Huey and the parents-in-law to leave, but I can imagine. A few days later, I received a report.
They've moved out.
and I was impressed by the efficiency. Even that brought relief to my heart. But several months after the divorce, Huey contacted me. What? By then, the divorce was final, and the parents-in-law had somewhat given up, so I hadn't blocked his number, but I immediately regretted not changing my mobile phone number or maintaining the block.
Ah, long time. I was just thinking, maybe you were starting to miss me by now.
What is he talking about? I felt more liberated than ever after the divorce, not having to care for him. I listened to Huey continue speaking. Huey was apparently dumped by Carol, and had thought I was his only option. The way he was dumped was laughable. He went to Carol right after our divorce.
We can be together right away.
When he told her, "Ew, don't flatter yourself," she responded very coldly, misinterpreting her professional demeanor at the workplace. Huey visited her at home, resulting in a restraining order from the police. Huey claimed,
Carol betrayed me. I dumped that woman.
But frankly, I had no interest in his story. I hung up the phone while he was still talking and immediately blocked him. I blocked all messages and later changed my phone number, starting anew. I heard from mutual friends that after the incident with Carol, Huey had disputes with clients and was viewed negatively at work. Perhaps feeling too uncomfortable, he resigned. Unable to secure another job, he seemed to be struggling financially, constantly asking various people for loans. The parents-in-law are probably taking care of him, but I imagine his modest income is hardly sufficient for a stable life. As for me, I'm living a fulfilling life with Caddy, dedicating my present solely for her, which brings me the utmost happiness.